Alright, 59 Gaming, Hayes Inc. here, and today it is my pleasure to introduce you to a new series that we're launching on 59 Gaming. It's going to be a weekly series and it's called Anime Gems. The idea behind this series is the creators here on 59 are going to take the time once a week to discuss their favourite anime game franchises of all time. Let me just set the stage for you. This isn't just going to be games based on animes, okay? This could be games based on animes, done in the anime style. They don't actually strictly have to be based on a show. We're going to talk about them, we're going to let you know why we enjoy those series, and hopefully you'll find some hidden gems you maybe didn't know about or give a chance to. Before I dive in and talk about my favourite game, which is the series Disgaea, I just want to say guys, if you're enjoying the content here on 59, please take a minute to like the video, subscribe to the channel so that we can keep bringing you more and more great content on a daily basis. But enough of all that, let's jump in and talk about the awesome Disgaea. The first game in the series, Disgaea Hour of Darkness, launched on PS2 back in January 2003, and it was our first look at a set of characters that would become staples of the franchise going forward. Laharl, Etna and Flawn, not to mention the Prinnies. The story would follow Laharl as he started on his quest to be recognised as Overlord of the Netherrealm and transform into a battle between heaven and hell. Now, all of this might sound a little bit serious. It's anything but though. Disgaea played this story out in the kind of way you would expect any shonen comedy action anime to play out, with a zany cast of characters supporting the main cast, and comedy at every turn. I don't really want to talk too much about the story, as to be honest, that's one of the best parts of this game, and despite it being old, it has recently been remastered, and hopefully after this video a few people would be encouraged to pick it up, so I'd rather not spoil it. All I will say is it's full of twists, and the character development will make you fall in love with this cast going forward. The gameplay in Disgaea will be instantly familiar to anyone who has played Final Fantasy Tactics, playing out in a grid-based strategy RPG style. I've once or twice seen this described as insane chess, basically. It offers deep gameplay mechanics and strategy with every battle. There's actually a lot to master in this title, from understanding weapon stats, partner attacks, level debuffs, and where to grind, because in this game there is an insane amount of grinding. If this title was a bit more dry, it might turn some people off, but the affection you feel for the characters makes you forget just how complex its mechanics can be. Another thing that Disgaea offers is its random item world. Now, this is actually something that's a bit of a first, and it happened in this game, and it was very ahead of its time. Basically, the item world is a randomly generated world every time you play. And what happens is, you travel inside your items to physically level them up. What do I mean? Basically, you have a set number of floors depending on the rarity of your item. The higher you climb, the stronger it gets. This part of the game alone could provide you with hundreds of hours of gameplay if you decided to spend some time in there power leveling all of your weapons and gear. Despite the game launching on PS2, this isn't actually where I fell in love with the title. The game was ported over to PSP in the form of Disgaea Afternoon of Darkness, and this added a few features to the game that would become default in the franchise going forward. Things that seem pretty obvious now if you've played later games, but skipping attack animations, increased movement speed, increasing the gameplay speed, those were all things that were added into the PSP port of this title. Now, Why is that important? Well, my PSP save at Disgaea clocked in at over 1,000 hours, and that was with stuff like animations skipped. Now, those animations can take up to 30 seconds, and trust me, you don't need to be seeing the same attacks thousands of times. Not only will you get sick of seeing it, you'll just clock up so much more gameplay time waiting for those actions to play out as you're trying to max level your characters. Why would you want to max out your characters? I hear you asking. Well, Disgaea offers some insane post-game content that would only get harder in sequels, so getting that nailed now is something that would stand you in good stead moving forward. In this post-game, if you can't manage to one-shot some of the enemies, then you'll quickly end up in a world of trouble. So grinding up your characters to hit insane numbers becomes a bit of an addiction, as you want to push on and clear everything the game has to offer. Now, the first Disgaea title has recently been ported to newer consoles in the form of Disgaea 1 Complete, where it has been remade in the graphical style of newer titles. Those titles ditched the more traditional pixel art style in favour of a more HD art style. They even went as far as putting the games onto smartphone. This is the full game, the full experience, the same thing you would get on the PS4 and on your Nintendo Switch. So if you don't have one of those platforms, you've probably got a smartphone, so there's nothing holding you back from being able to play this absolutely fantastic game. This single title made me fall in love with the series, and I've played every game since. They even made an anime about the first game's storyline, which admittedly is not everyone enjoyed, but it was popular enough that they did make an English dub, so if you're a fan of the game, I recommend you seek this out. However, it can be fairly difficult to come by. This year is also a big year for the Disgaea franchise. There is a new title launching in the mainline series, Disgaea 6, that will introduce a whole new cast of characters, as well as the classic Disgaea characters all making a return. That will probably happen in the post-game, as that tends to be what happens with sequels. They're also launching a new mobile gacha title based on the Disgaea series called Disgaea RPG, and I'm very sure we'll be covering that here on 5.9. I just need to hit up Nola for the company credit card because I want to be the resident whale in that title, and I'll be glad to bring that one to you. Nola, I'm being totally serious. I know you watch this content. I need you to be sending me that credit card information, buddy. So that's just a little bit about my favourite anime game, and to be honest, my favourite anime gaming franchise. Let us know in the comments down below if you've played this one. If not, is this now something that you would like to try? I've been Hazink, thanks for joining me in the first video in this series, and I probably won't catch you on the next one because we're going to have someone else doing that, but make sure you tune in for the next video, guys. See you later.
I will. Yeah. Gotta take it up like this, yeah.